Good Saturday afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I'm glad you guys could join me today. We're going to do something a little different on the channel today. And if you see what I have on the table there, and you're familiar with these, you know what we're going to be doing, maybe, possibly. But we're going to be tearing this thing down and just going over how this thing operates and why, when these things fail, they wipe out the whole system. So stay tuned, because this should be, hopefully, educational and interesting. Contact! Okay, so hopefully this will be interesting. We're not too concerned about this thing being clean, because we're not going to be using this thing. This is only for educational purposes only. But we're going to tear this thing apart, and I'll show you why these things fail, and you know, why when they fail, they wipe out the complete system. So first of all, backstory on this thing: the truck was running. Everything was working. There was nothing, no problems. The customer was just wanting to be preventative about this thing. You know, spend $3,000 now versus, you know, $10,000 later. Because when these things fail, they fail in a spectacular fashion. They will wipe out injectors, the whole fuel system. There's shavings that go through the injectors down through the fuel system and fills your tank with it. No, it doesn't fill your tank, but it coats the bottom of the tank with like very fine metal shards. If you don't clean all of that out and you don't get all of that out of there, you will have a failure of your new pump. So therefore, when these things fail, it is a $10,000 to $12,000 fix. So, and that's if you go back with this one here. I mean, if you update it like this guy did with the DCR conversion kit from S&S Diesel, you will avoid this problem in the future. But that pump is just a little bit more expensive because there's more involved, obviously. So what this guy opted to do wisely was to go ahead and repair or replace this thing before it failed. Truck had about 255,000 miles on it, and so he opted to repair it while he still could. So he wants to know, and I'm curious too, but he wants to know, you know, how bad was this pump? Did he have any kind of dirt getting into the pump? So first thing that we're going to do is, on a Ford Power Stroke, these, and a Duramax also, these set down in the center of the engine. So you have your engine, it's a V, and it sets down in the center. So this goes into your timing gear, and your timing gear runs on the front side of both motors. So you will have a, this is inside your engine oil. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick down and dirty on how to check to see if these have failed. If you think this has failed, this is a quick down and dirty. Now, on the Power Stroke, you do have to remove the upper and lower air intake for these to get down to this part of it. But we're going to take our fuel control valve out of here. And one quick and easy way you can tell if these have failed is, Duramax and Power Stroke both, is take this fuel control valve out of here and look down in here and see if there's any shavings. And then you also want to look on this screen here. So we can see there's absolutely no shavings here on this screen. There's no shavings down inside there. If this thing has failed, there will be shavings running clear through this thing. So we can see that this one has not failed. Now, the problem with these pumps, and the reason that these things fail, is the fact that you have fuel coming in to this thing on this line right here. It goes into the bottom of this pump, and this pump acts like a regular engine, technically, for lack of better words. It has the only thing is it doesn't have a crankshaft and a camshaft. This has just a camshaft. And this camshaft spins. It pushes the pistons up and down in here, and it allows fuel at a high pressure to come out of here and here. But what happens with these, and the reason that these fail compared to the old CP3, which was a good, reliable CP3, is the fact that for one, the design of these things, the way the camshaft, crankshaft, whatever, is designed in here, is prone to failure. But the other thing is that the reason it wipes out the fuel injectors is that it comes in here, goes in through the bottom of this crankcase for lubrication. Then it goes through ports and comes up in through on top of the pistons, comes up on top of the pistons, and it pumps out into your fuel system, which then will pump through the injectors. And then also at the same time it pumps excess fuel in through the return, which pumps the steel shavings through your return lines down in through the tank. I mean, it is just a catastrophic worst case scenario failure, and it happens a lot. So, and there's, you know, as a general rule, these things probably won't last more than about there is the exception, but most of them will not last past about 250,000 miles. Obviously, this one had 255, so, you know, it depends on the quality of your fuel, the, you know, how you use it probably. I mean, just, there's a lot of things that it depends on that, you know, makes the difference in how long these things last. So we're going to go ahead and take this off, and this thing has a spring in it, so I want to be careful. My car is in the background, and if this thing comes apart, we've got to be careful when we get this thing up off of here. There we go. All right, so as we can see, this thing looks really well yet, or looks really good. There's no shavings down here, but because of the way this thing travels fuel from this is your cam follower, and actually, that does not look bad at all. Just gonna see if there's any kind of failure starting to happen whatsoever, but these cam followers will start to round off as well. This thing doesn't feel like it's moving just the best. So if they can either get seized on here and start to, if they don't roll, then it creates a lot of friction. And with the fuel that we use nowadays, which is not much for lubrication, that can be a problem. Now, the other thing, this pump is starting to show some wear right in here. You can see some wear down in through here. So I kind of feel like this pump may not have lasted real long. I don't know that for sure, but it sure doesn't seem like it would have, because there is, oh, we can see some wear down in the bottom here. And as you can see, so let's go ahead and pull this other one out, and I'll show you. show you guys how this fuel runs through this thing and why it fails and sends shavings through everything like it does. So being very careful here. You probably shouldn't take it apart the way I did, but if you do, do it at your own risk. Okay, still nothing here. Let's pull this thing out of here. Starting to see some wear here on this tappet here, roller, whatever. Yeah, there's some on that side too, but this side's actually getting worse. Yeah, this roller definitely rolls easier than the other side, so I don't think it would have been long before this thing would have failed, in all honesty. Yeah, there's a lot of wear on the side there. Okay, so I want to show you guys why these things fail and why they send fuel through the whole system. For one, whenever you use the design on the design flaw on this is that it comes into this port here, goes in through the bottom of your crankcase, and that adds as lubrication and cooling. So now you've heated up this fuel, and now you're pumping it up from the crankcase and into the top of into your piston here. And what, I guess I should explain what this thing does. This is like a modulated flow control valve. So the ECM decides that it wants more fuel. So it comes into here, and it comes into a drilled portion here, comes into this flow control valve, and less or more fuel equals less or more pressure on these pumps, the way this works. The old CP3 worked that way, the CP4 works that way as well. So when the ECM sees that it wants more fuel pressure, it opens this valve here, which allows more fuel to be modulated to the top of the piston here, and it gets to the top of the piston through this port right here. And if we remember, this port right here goes right there, and that comes from here. It comes up through here. Look here, if I get this right. It comes in through here and goes down inside through a modulated valve here and comes out, goes right through this port here. So this port right here comes down inside here. Same way with this port right here. It's drilled port all the way down inside there. So what happens, and part of the reason that these things fail like they do is because you have heated fuel that is supposed to be lubricating the crankcase. And as we know, our diesel fuel these days is not near what it was well, they changed it, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think loud noises. So, going back before that dumb thing started, is by pumping fuel through the crankcase first, it heats it up. And I believe, I haven't taken a CP3 apart, but if I'm not wrong, I believe after it leaves the crankcase, it goes back to the tank through a return line. These don't. They come through the crankcase, up into here, pump right up to the top and out to the injectors. So, and then your excess fuel would go out your return line here. So you have a double failure here that in that it gets heated by the crankcase down here. It's working harder because the CP4 is a dual piston pump. We're pumping, excess of 26 to almost 30,000 pounds of pressure out of these pumps. And there's like, the design of these things is junk. You know, there's no, this is all steel on steel here. There's no ball bearings in there, needle bearings, nothing like that. Nothing in there. I mean, it's a bad design. So you can do one of two things on these. You can take this thing off, put a new one of these on every 150,000 miles, which is what some people were doing. The other thing you can do, S&S has come out with a kit that basically blocks off the upper and lower here and provides fuel for pumping through a different port, and then sends your fuel from the crankcase back to the tank. So, or back, not back to the tank, back through a filter that they provide. And so what by doing that, they separate the bottom part of this thing from the top part going to your injectors. So that kit that puts a block off plate in here and has a filter, and I'll put a link down below for that. That kit will save your injectors. Doesn't save your fuel pump, but it saves your injectors, and most times will save your fuel tank as well. And that has been proven to work. So it's actually an easy kit to put on. It's not that expensive. You can opt to do that, or they make a DCR conversion kit, and I'll put a link down below for that. And I don't make any money off of these. They're not a sponsor, so I'm not getting any kickback. I'm just trying to help you guys out, which will put a pump that they designed and the DCR conversion, and will convert that to a completely different pump that's very reliable, has been proven to work, and eliminates this problem. So hopefully this was helpful and educational. If it was, let me know that by going down in the comments below and letting me know that. I like to hear that. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Again, it doesn't cost you guys anything, and it helps me out tremendously. Lets that YouTube algorithm know that you guys want to see more of this. So, I appreciate it. Thanks, everyone. Y'all have a great day.